Uh, all right, shalom. Good evening, boys. Here. Well, I just now got in from a daddy-daughter date. Anybody that's been watching my channel and Facebook for any length of time knows that I like to do things with my daughters, and one of the things that I do is individually I take them on daddy-daughter dates. We go to the Carson Center. We check out the latest show, a musical that's going on. I get front row seats. I spend top dollar. We go to the fanciest restaurants in town. I show receipts. I show the restaurants. Sylvia's. We've gone to, I forgot the other name of the place. It's in Metropolis, but we go to the nicest restaurants. We go to the candy shop, or we go to a little toy store. I do it up for my daughters because I think that they are worthy to be treated like little princesses, and I think in this day and age the reason why our sisters are so jacked up is because they did not have a father figure that was going to teach and love them and show them what it means to be a man and what it means to be treated like a lady. But I say that to say, I was out today and we went to the Carson Center and we went to go and see Blue's Clues. Now, my youngest daughter's 4 years old, and we go in there and we sit down in the, front row seats, and we get in there. And I spent $250 on these tickets. And we go in 15 minutes into the show. I noticed that everybody else in the crowd, they're all having a good time. And the only child that's not having a good time is my daughter. And I took a picture of her and I'm going to use it as this thumbnail. And I looked at her and she's looking at the show and, and she's observing and she said, Daddy, can we go? I said, what's the problem? You don't like the show? And she says, Daddy, this is fake. It's fake. I want to go. And I said to myself, this is a 4-year-old girl. I mean, it just took me off guard. Now, I text her mother, while we were at the show, and I'm like, what's going on? But when I looked at the actual show, what they had was life-size characters, and behind the life-size characters they had actual people like puppets behind them, manipulating their arms, manipulating their legs. Now I thought that it was going to be a kind of show where you had lifestyle or life-size characters that's wearing costumes, but they didn't have that. The people were behind them manipulating. You can see the people behind the actual figures, the actual life-size cartoon characters. I mean, I'm just trying to give you a visual of what you were seeing, and everybody else was having a good time. My daughter was looking and she said, this is fake. I don't want to see this. And I think that the show could have been better if they had people in the costumes. A couple of months ago, I took my daughter, my middle child daughter. She's 6 years old, going on 7. And we went to go and see Shrek, and we had a good time because people, the actors that were dressed up like the characters. But for some reason, this wasn't the case. But, as looking at the show, I said to my daughter, I said, yeah, you're right. And we left about 15 minutes in. And everybody else was having a good time, but she noticed that this was fake. She can see the people that were manipulating the characters or the cartoon figures on stage. And it got me to thinking. I was very proud of my daughter, even though I was out $250. I was very proud of my daughter because she's able to realize and see with her own eyes the difference between real and fake. And, it goes to show when you look at social media, when you look at people, they're fake as shit. You can tell just by listening and looking to them and watching with their words, and that their words don't line up, that their actions, that they're lying through their face. They get on camera and they lie and they lie and they lie, and nobody can recognize it. And it's right there in your face. People don't seem to understand and realize the difference between real and fake. I'm blessed with the spirit of discernment, and in the past, I always felt that I've had a strong spirit of discernment. But what got me was ignoring it. Now I don't ignore it anymore. And I can always tell damn near 100% of the time when somebody's lying. When somebody's lying, I just know. It's just that tingling that goes off. And so before, I used to ignore it or put it off. I don't ignore it anymore. Because when I look at situations in the past, it always told me what was going on. But I just chose to ignore the experience. And now I'm totally in tune with it now. And I thank my daughter because the evening just showed, we still went out to a nice fancy dinner. We went to go on Chuck E. Cheese. She had a good time. We went out and got some ice cream. We went out and got candy and stuff. We had a good time still. But she was able to recognize real from fake. But a lot of people today, they can't recognize real from fake. They cannot recognize when somebody is duping and deceiving them. It really is sad. And I go back to the fact that, my daughter, she's never been vaccinated. She doesn't drink a whole bunch of high fructose corn syrup, and the water's not fluorinated here. And she's not jumped up and hopped up with a whole bunch of GMO food. She can think clearly, and she's 4 years old. And I tell you, we're the only two people that walked out of that damn entire Carson Center out there in Paducah, Kentucky. Beautiful venue. Go and look it up. But it just goes to show that a lot of people cannot recognize real from fake. My 4-year-old daughter could. I'm proud of her. $250 lesson tonight. But it's sad. You see, the majority of people today, they don't know when they're being lied to. They don't know when they're being duped and deceived. They just don't know. They can't tell a liar when their mouth is moving. A lot of people today, they're just like politicians, and they play the political game. And when they're lying is when their mouth is moving and they can't back up anything that they say. But it was an interesting night. It was a beautiful night nonetheless. We had a good time. But, my 4-year-old daughter can clearly see a puppeteer, real from fake. Can you?